It's a problem that can impact anyone and cause a massive headache for months. We're talking about frozen bank accounts.
So I just learned something in the commercial break from Nina, so you're going to learn something for her too, I promise. It can affect all of us, and we want to talk about how it happens, so how you can avoid it. 7 on your side's Nina Pineda is joining us. Nina, I didn't even understand, but you can bring the heat when our accounts get iced out.
Yes, and a freeze can, imagine, wreak havoc on your life. Imagine going to the ATM, you go to put your card in, you have no access to your funds, and everything that's connected to your account, all your auto pay, all your bills are blocked. But this sort of can cut both ways. On one hand, there's so much fraud. If there's a warning, that your account's been flagged, this action by your bank can protect you from having all your money drained by scammers. That's a good thing. On the other hand, it could be a legitimate check that leaves your money frozen for a very, very long time. Wow. We have helped at least half a dozen people over the last few years with the same issue. 3 of the people on the screen had their entire life savings frozen, ranging from $850 all the way up to $80,000. And even though they tried to prove that, these deposits are legitimate, their money was on ice, and the various banks, they don't have to provide customers with the reason for freezing. Oh, wow. 2 of the women were single moms. They actually had to sell their cars. They couldn't afford the car payments. But worse than that, you know what, guys? It's the feeling for these people that they were being told, you're doing something wrong, you committed some kind of fraud.
I felt like trash, and then the people were looking at me like, oh, you did something wrong.
I had to rely on everybody around me and borrow money from everywhere just to stay afloat.
I had no funds. All my funds were frozen.
When she looked into the computer, she said, your account is being closed. There's no reason for you to have this card back.
She took the card from you?
She took the card.
Oh. This recent victim came to 7 on your side after his paycheck was frozen. He deposited it, guess what, last March. The check cleared from his employer happens to be the U.S. Treasury Department. What? But ever since last year, he's been trying to get his 10 grand check back. They kept saying that he, Leonard, altered the check. So we're going to have more on his story at 5. But really interesting backstory. Leonard is a parolee who served time. And now is helping others in similar situations as a paralegal, helping them get out of trouble.
And I love you're on the story because I know it'll get fixed now. So his paycheck was frozen, but what other kinds of deposits can trigger that freeze?
You know what, Sam? You want to look for anything unusual or large, kind of out of the pattern of your banking. This could be maybe a big insurance settlement claim check that came in, a disability check, maybe a lump sum work payment for a year's worth of work that's unusually large, or home sale deposits. That's what happened to one lady in Brooklyn. Really? She sold her parents' house. They sent her a check for the amount of the house sale. It was like a townhouse. Yes. The whole thing froze her account because it was like 450 grand. They're like, so on one hand, the bank's trying to protect you. I always say multi-factor authentication and do all this stuff. So the banks are trying to protect you on one hand, but on the other hand, when they're legit, this could blow back on you.
Okay, so if you have this type of check, before you put them in, is there anything that you can do in advance?
You want to bring all the proof. Gather up all your evidence that your check is legit. Make sure you bring your pay stub, bring some letters from your employer, show your hours. Show that you had a claim settlement. This lady from Brooklyn here had a claim settlement for disability. And then bring any official government forms, like an IRS refund or something from Social Security or something from disability that shows this is a check from us that is real.
People at home are going to be asking any other takeaways to help that you could just avoid your account getting frozen, period.
Yeah, this is what I told you were surprised about, Sam. Yep. Never put big checks or large cash in an ATM. You want to meet with your branch manager. Say, can I speak to the branch manager because I have this large amount coming in. You want to provide ID proof. So be prepared to bring your passport, Social Security card, your license. Yeah. And then sometimes know that if you have a new account, those new accounts can also get red flagged. But even though you can do all these things with all these great tips and all these great takeaways, and you can still get marked for fraud and frozen. So if you've tried everything and you can't thaw these funds, that's when you got to come to 7 on your side. So we can bring the heat, and we'll be expanding on that at 5.
Honestly, I think you sometimes need to walk into the bank and say hi to people. You know me, I'm a people person. So a lot of people are just like in the machine. I want to go in. I say hi to Darlene all the time as I go by the bank. So I have someone to talk to. It's just that you know those people and they know you.
And that has proved, Sam, in all these cases we've covered, that has proved to be one of the great takeaways. If you have a face-to-face relationship, which we don't have anymore with our teller, like you know Darlene by name. That will help you if you have these things, because these people know you, you know them.
They vouch for you.
All right, Nina. Well,